Yo, this is TDT here, and we are going to be bringing you our week one Beedrill power rankings. One of the games is not completed, but it was extended to the next week. So those two players we're just going to exclude from our list for now. We'll cover how they did the next week. Those two players are David and Genius X. So we're going to be going over a Beedrill power ranking now, and who I thought, well, there'll only be 14 players on this list, not 16, because I don't feel like it's right to, you know, have Genius or David on the list if they didn't actually, um, you know, play a game. Um, I'm not just going to give them a spot where I think they are. That doesn't make any sense. This is just off the week, off my opinion, um, and it's subjective. So, without further ado, to me, I was least impressed with Alex because I expected his team to be able to put in a little bit more work because I was a little skeptical on his team when I did the Beedrill analysis. I was like, I didn't know what that was supposed to be, and in the first game, I didn't feel like it performed. So I mean, it felt like he was completely dominated. It felt like he had no way to beat L5. It was his opponent, but he felt like L5 didn't even have to do that much to be able to completely dominate him. I don't think it was difficult for L5 to make the prep that he made. I think that a lot of people could have done that. Outside of Beedrill, outside of even I think some Weedles could have done it, honestly. Because it was a pretty simple prep. He just brought answers to what he had. He didn't really have anything that could put in work. And like Excelgor, Toxapex was a pretty easy answer, and he couldn't really handle that. Um, Orlando was obviously answered by Palestine, and then there's like that game is just it felt bad. It wasn't much that he could have done to be able to win that game. So to me, I think that was the worst, just because I don't think he can win future games if with just the way he looked. It just looked like his team couldn't support anything. Um, and maybe I'm taking away too much from King of Five's performance. Maybe I am, but I thought that just from team preview that Alex was kind of screwed. And then he lost 6-0, so I don't know what that's supposed to show me. How that's supposed to show me that it's a competent team after I'm already skeptical on it. So I think, to me, it's not even about playing or prepping at that point. It's about, can you even win, even if you prep well and play well and all that. Because with this team, I don't really know if Alex can win games, but we'll see. So the next one I have is at number 13 is Arphemius, and um, he also, I mean, he actually built his team. He synergized his team pretty well, but he drafted Fairthorn round one again, like he always does. But okay. Um, but he brought a Mega Altaria set that got completely walled by Mungus, and I thought that was just a little bit silly. I mean, and he played weird on it. He earthquaked on Heat Train when it was still alive, and he just gave up momentum. I don't know what he was thinking in the game. And then, even though like he got frozen in that game, he really under prepped for the Kartana, and the Kartana just ended up getting a sub and just 6-0ing him. So that was, I felt pretty bad. Just I was not impressed by Arf at all. I thought it was just a shitty performance. But in Beedrill, I think there was a lot of people. Nobody really played that bad. Arf wasn't good, but I mean, it wasn't bad. It was like you could see some Kakunas like around eighth or so playing like that. So yeah. So Ice is my next and my 12th, and he just got dominated in prep again. And he didn't bring the Primarina switch in also, so he just sacked his Amon turn one, and it was just kind of sad to see that Ice had to sack him on the very first turn just because he didn't bring a switch in to Primarina. And yeah, I just didn't think he played that well either. I mean, I don't think he played terrible exactly, but he didn't play that well. And yeah, just the prep was just ridiculous. At number 11 this week, I had Inversify. Um, the turn 16 Sucker Punch, I feel like, which he did on a Bisharp, was really never the play. Or I don't know if it was Bisharp. I think it was. And then he kind of choked on the Signal Beam versus Celebi by not doing. Yeah, the Glide score could have gone in on Signal Beam. And Ace was saying, because Psychic does a lot, I don't think he was looking at the right turn. It's because when Goth killed Celebi with that Signal Beam, that was a perfect opportunity for Inverse to get that agility off and win the game. So, yeah, that was a choke. And I didn't think that was. I thought that was kind of iffy. Um, we'll see how that goes in later weeks because he did prep well for this game because he had that in general, and I think that was definitely a plus on his part. But we'll see what happens. Um, so at number 10, I have a manga, and he mostly he played and prepped pretty well. He still lost, and he stays in on Whimsicott after clicking Will-O-Wisp. That was just the worst play because it's obvious he's going to encore that. I thought that was just a stupid play. Mindless. Um, yeah, there's no way to justify that. So, um, pretty much that's all I have to think about that. Um, so at number 9, I have Jarrett. So, yeah, okay. At number 9, I have Jarrett. And, no, wait, am I at number 9? Okay. Yeah, yes, 9. But I think Jarrett, due to the non-revealed Gengar like early on, I'm not going to mention his place, because Gengar actually did affect the game in my opinion. They put Jarrett in a really bad position. They didn't absolutely change like everything about the game, but they changed a lot. They kept the hazards on the field. Um, they kept Gengar alive because it wouldn't have been alive that long because it reduced the knockoff damage that it would have taken, unless you ran Culper Berry, but I don't think that would have been what he would have done if it was not a Zemu user. So, yeah, I think it did matter. Um, but I don't think it mattered outside of differential, honestly. Um, but I think it's difficult to judge. And I think Jarrett was handily out prepped in this game, anyways. Um, and I don't know if he put like a ton of time into it, but it didn't look that way, honestly. Um, and I didn't like the play of like Harding into Tornadus on the chestnut either. I thought that he should have sacked something maybe, or I thought it was a pretty clear wood hammer there. But maybe he thought something else. I just thought it was a pretty clear wood hammer. Um, so at number 8, I have ABP. And like for me, in hindsight, an offensive shaman would have been really, really nice for ABP. Because it would have been able to KO the Power Sand, and it could potentially bring Skarmory to its sturdy, with like nature's power because the electric terrain. And I actually liked kind of the way he prepped. Like his Roost Tapu Koko really kind of helped. I like the bulk on the Tapu Koko a little bit, the fog and all that. He made a really odd, bold, or like a hard play into Coco, like on his Registeel when he was facing a Palisand, like possibly expecting a switch or something. I thought that was really, really, really weird play. I disagree with it completely. I thought that was one of the worst plays that he made. I thought he under prepped, like kind of for Mega Lopunny, but I honestly think you know that it was more about just not having an offensive presence so much. But he got pretty good prep, honestly. So like and I think he would have benefited maybe from like bringing a less typical answer though, like to Mega Bunny. Like a bulkier Halucha would have been actually pretty nice, I think, in hindsight, because it actually could kind of 1v1 a Halucha. I mean, Mega Bunny, and it could have given him room to bring a more offensive shaman, which could have actually done something. And I thought stealth rocks weren't actually crucial in this matchup either. So I wasn't actually. I mean, I understand like ABP's good at using Registeel. He likes Registeel, but I don't know if the stealth rocks were like the move exactly. Based on what he brought, I don't know about the matchup in general. They might have been better in the matchup in general, but they didn't really work against what he brought. Too much at least. I thought like maybe he could bring another set for Registeel and it would have been okay. Like a Choppel T Wave would have been interesting. Something like that. I just think that like he didn't have a lot of offensive pressure on his team. He gave up momentum and he forced like a lot of his Pokemon to have to take a lot of hits, and actually made his team like kind of less defensive by bringing more defensive mons. Um, because sometimes offensive pressure can be better defense than actual defense. This applies mostly to like wall breakers though, and not things like Megalopenny. But yeah, I think it would have applied a little bit in this situation. And I don't think ABP prepped badly. I don't think he played badly, but he just didn't win the game. He could have definitely changed up some things and made himself a little bit less predictable, because I think Dougal completely predicted like what was going on in this game, what ABP's prep was. But Dougal took a little bit of risk, and actually at number 7, I have Dougal. I think he played very risky in this game. In the turn one, I kind of like this play because it makes Tapu Koko have to like worry about rocks later on, and maybe he would U-turn. He thought, like I felt like maybe like if he sludge wave though, that then it would kill for sure after rocks. So I mean, if that was the idea behind the play, if he expected a 252 HP Tapu Koko, and that's why he stayed in, then sludge wave would have been really cool because it would have killed it right after rocks, made the game a little bit easier. So I like that if he actually thought it was 252 HP, not had no attack investment, I mean, special attack investment. Um, but because I don't think ABP's Coco had any special attack investment, and like like it was just a really aggressive play. It was like really aggressive, and it relied on Coco not having any. So I think that was just super risky. It worked out in his favor. I think that shows he can really predict the types of teams that his opponents will bring, and he probably scouts his opponents relatively well. So I I don't know what to think about that, but it's ballsy, and I kind of like that. And like another thing he did was he set up rocks on Shaman turn 3 with like a leftover Payusan, and that took balls as well because like an offensive Shaman 100% killed that Payusan. And I mean, having Mega Lopunny made it a little bit more justified because it took away a lot of the possibility of an offensive shaman coming, but that's where ABP could have been a little bit less predictable and brought a more offensive shaman. And I think like Payusan had a lot easier rocks on some other things like Coco, maybe Registeel, and it was sort of necessary for Coco, like as a defensive answer, even though like ABP ended up not bringing a very offensive Coco set. So, but I don't really agree with the play. I think the play like is possibly just a hard into Skarmory and maybe double into Hoopy U. Um, so yeah, that's just my opinion. Um, and yeah, I think that's just, and I think Protect Mesprit was interesting and really ended up being useful. So I think like the team preview, like I mean not from team preview, just in general, like he really predicted what his team was going to be, and maybe I would have liked to seen like maybe like more offensive invested Skarmory, so we could have KO'd Tapu Koko with Brave Bird after Volcanion did that hit. And like also, um, I think Taunt Skarmory was like pretty good in this game too. So I think I think Dougal played this game very well. I just think he took a lot of risks that he didn't really need to take. Um, Overall, I think it was a good performance. If he can continue to keep predicting like he did, um, yeah, I think that's he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in Beedrill, and he'd probably be in a mega Beedrill next season. But we'll see how that holds up. I don't know if it's going to be able to do that. He might not. He might. Um, but we'll see. And now we're going to go to our number 6, and that is Papa Boy. And he had a much better prep than Jarrett, I think. And but he kind of had a little bit of a controversial thing that Z Gengar wasn't listed, but it wasn't made a very big deal. I think it actually mattered a little bit more than it was made out to be. Um, it got major chip on his defogger, and it just kept Gengar alive. And you know, I think it might have put him in range of Woodhammer. I don't really know. So I mean, it was kind of controversial to me, but he kind of dominated a little bit. And I'm interested to see this what will happen with both of them. How much change will happen throughout their seasons. So at number 5, I had Gaff King of 5, and he played the guy Alex. I thought it wasn't really even that crazy. Like, he just won from team preview. He won completely. I mean, I just thought it was a pretty easy matchup. Pretty easy, kind of a pretty easy win. Um, and I mean, that's most of what I have to say about it. Um, it would be interesting just like to see the types of teams they had, just to know if like how how interesting they actually were, how the spreads worked out more, because I don't really have their spreads. I've asked for a few spreads in these power rankings for them, um, because I was just unsure about what was going on, and it really mattered, and how I would be able to judge usually the other player, but sometimes the player themselves. So I was actually probably more impressed by Dougal than a King of 5. But I'm just not sure if Dougal can't keep it up, he could be in major trouble making plays like he made. If you can't predict what his opponents will bring, and he made some pretty ballsy predictions. So we'll see. We'll see where that leads him. But King of 5, I think he'll rise. I just I just don't know about this week. I didn't feel like there was enough to see from it. I think almost every Bijo would have been able to win the match. Maybe not do as well as he would have been able as he was able to do, but that's why he is number 5, and I believe that's where he belongs. Um, so at number 4, I have Ace, and I think he played pretty well, and he built pretty well around a mediocre matchup. To be honest, it really wasn't a fantastic matchup for him. He was playing like pivoting offense, and it wasn't that great. And I think he played pretty well through it. He kind of could have lost this game if Mercify didn't choke, but I think Mercify had the matchup. And that being said, I think it was impressive by Ace to win. And it was a close game, but it was still impressive, I think, by Ace to be able to win this game. Because just the way his team was built and the way Inversify's team was built, it wasn't good for him. Um, so I was somewhat impressed by him. Um, but at number 3, I have someone I'm more impressed with by a bit. Number 1, 2, and 3 they just had really good performances. Number 3, I have Will the most, and he had a good season last season as well. He moved up from Weedle, so I think he's gonna have a good season if he can keep up like the momentum. But like turn 4, if you watch that game, turn 4, he makes a really sick play. Expecting like Omega to predict a hard Gengar. I mean, I'm Froligator. Um, I'm still thinking about the Papa Boy game. For hard for Alligator, and he lead sheets on a Volcarona directly on his Whimsicott, and he encores it into the Will-O-Wisp. that he when he predicted the Feraligatr, and I thought that was pretty savage. So then on turn 6, he makes an amazing play, harding a Scarf Zapdos in for like a predicted Mega Aerodactyl on that Whimsicott, because you wouldn't expect Scissor to come in because of HP Fire, because that's what they would think, is that he would do an HP Fire. So he went into to Zapdos, which you would think, okay, that answers Scissor, right? That answers Scissor. Um, that's why he brought it in. He brought it in as a Scissor answer, but no, he Scarfed, and he knew that Arrow was going to come in because he wasn't going to risk the hidden power fire. So that was a brilliant play to bring that Scarf Zapdos in, and just boom, it's Aerodactyl is done. You don't have to worry about it. Brilliant. Okay, so then he also comes in hard on Whimsicott against like a Banded Scissor from Zapdos, which is ballsy, and yeah, he does predict the knockoff. I think that was just a good play. But the crit from Diggersby did change a lot in this game, and it did benefit Will the most quite a bit. But I think he makes really good plays. He has some, really sick predictions in this game, and yeah, I can't say enough about how impressive it was to be able to do. The turn 4 through turn 6 were just amazing plays. And I thought it was just fantastic. So then I have Joao. I hope I'm saying that right now. I watched a video, but like I don't think it was right, because I read the comment section and they were all like they're pronouncing it wrong. So like he just absolutely dominated his game. And like especially in the prep stage, it wasn't close. He was playing ice. It was yeah. He just dominated him. There's not much more you can say. It was just a pretty clean performance. Um, Pretty simple. Yeah, that's about it. Really, you can't say much about Joao's performance. And at number 1, I have a Rice Pool who swept our ARF with that Kartana, and he just dominated in every single possible way. I'm not sure how I feel about the performance, considering how um, you know considering how ARF played and prepped. But he was so dominant, and I thought he had some pretty cool brings like Seb Cortana and stuff like that. So I mean, to me, I'm more impressed actually with Will than the first two, in a way, because of the plays. But then he actually needed a little bit of hacks in his game, and yeah, so like it wasn't as dominant of a performance, even though he showed off. I think he showed off more. So it's kind of interesting having to work and figure out who really belongs higher. And to me, I just think Rise Pool's performance was just so easy. It was just so easy, and I just there's no way you can't put a performance like that number 1. It was just so dominant, so easy. I mean, you could say that King of Flames performance was so easy, but I mean, I guess it was. I just thought you know, it was more typical of a. It had more typical brings. It didn't really show off anything that was like super interesting to me. Something I really didn't expect. Like you should be able to prep for a team like that, and Rise Pool had a harder team that you to prep for, and yeah, I just thought it was less predictable. So yeah, but that's my ranking. So a reminder: 1 Rise Pool, 2 Joao, 3 Will, 4 Ace, 5 L5, 6 Papa Boy, 7 Dougal, 8 ABP, 9 Jarrett, 10 Omega, 11 Inversify, 12 Ice, Arf at 13, and Alex at 14. So I hope you enjoy enjoy the video. I don't know if you would have like a different opinion on who had the best performance. I think the top 3 definitely had very solid performances. But if you have a different opinion than me, if you think maybe not Rise Pool, maybe like Joao or Will or somebody else had the best performance of the week, you can let me know in the comments. I'm glad to hear anything. You have any comment, I'm just glad to answer it. Any questions, anything like that. So, yeah, uh, that's about it. So I hope have a good day. Peace.